Christ, have I got to go on there?
Yeah, you have.
Why are you making me do this?
I'm not making you. You do. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Jesus fudge. Hey, you do this for a living?
Yeah.
Can you give me your hand for a second? Oh my God! Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. This is the second part of Decorating with Kevin, a new series here on YouTube and Facebook. I am the Bald Explorer. You can't tell because I've got my hard hat on. Health and safety rules.
Health and safety? This time of year, you mean elf and safety.
How long have we practiced that joke? Anyway, let's get rid of these because we...
Hang on, mine's stuck.
I put super glue on it. I thought it would be worth doing a second version because the first version we did of this, yesterday's video, went down so well. People were patting you on the back, coming up to you in the street and going, Kevin, you're such a clever decorator. Your diary is now filled up. I'm taking 10%, by the way. And it's been absolutely marvellous. In this video, people often said, looking at the comments from the first video, can't wait to see the results. But of course, the results aren't going to be that quick because although we've got 2 coats on pretty much everything,
we have, yeah.
It showed up all the other deficiencies.
Yeah, as it always does.
Yeah, so the door frames and the stairs and the gloss and all of that. But coming up in today's video, Kevin makes me walk the plank. Oh, shite! It's all very well you laughing. Oh God, I've just looked down. Turn round. Now I'm stuck. Don't laugh. I am alive. We'll see more of that in a minute.
I'm not saying a word.
No, that was scary. We'll save that for towards the end. You were using your roller, which speeds things up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it just dawned on me. I asked a silly question, as I often do, and then I got an interesting answer from you. And I was saying, when did rollers come in, and have they always had rollers? And I was thinking back, to I don't know the Egyptians when they're sort of trying to paint on certain surfaces. But you surprised me by saying that rollers and emulsion paint is relatively new.
It is, yeah. I left school in 1969 and went straight into an apprenticeship. And in those days, the emulsion paints were being talked about, but not really mass produced. So emulsions came out in probably the early to mid 70s. Prior to that, we had what they call distemper. And that's not the disease the dog gets. This is a powder mix that you would mix up with water, and you would have a consistency where you'd have to put a special type of brush, almost like a small version of the old-fashioned yard broom, and you dip it in, and then you just put it onto the ceiling, but you wouldn't be able to cover much of an area because it was quite thick. Trouble is with that stuff, once it's dried out completely, if you moisten it in any way, it's what they call liven it up, and then that can come off.
Oh, I see. So is that a bit like sort of almost a plaster, but not quite a plaster?
Yes, similarish, yeah.
And some of the old churches had a lime wash.
Yes.
Which again was, I suppose, basically chalk that had been thickened up and then put onto the churches. But I suppose because it was lime, it set, so it didn't wash off when the rain came.
But that would have been the same principle.
Yeah.
If the lime got wet in any way, it would be livened up. But the problem is with the Artexes and that you've got on the ceiling now, which sort of covers up anything with cracked ceilings and stuff like that. That's got to be careful because the old Artexes has got asbestos in it.
Yes. So, and of course, asbestos was being banned, 20 years ago?
Got to be, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And there was a great hoo-ha about that because people had been breathing it in. And I've had that issue selling my dad's house where the asbestos was in the Artex in the ceiling and stuff. But you were also telling me, which was fascinating, that when emulsion paints came out, companies like Dulex and Dulux, not Dulex. I think they do electrical flex. I don't know. They experimented with a whole range of different stuff. One of which I know got banned, a different paint surface.
Yeah, well, Dulux, probably again in the sort of mid to late 70s, early 80s, there was something called Polyripple brought out and something called Polytex brought out. And it was the Polytex that was banned because what it was sand mixed with emulsion, and you would put that on with a roller. But when it dried, it left the surface really coarse.
Like sandpaper.
Like sandpaper, but much harder, much tougher.
So it must have looked, it gave it a sort of...
A textured finish.
Yeah. But yeah,
children, they were falling against it, and they were literally ripping their faces open, ripping their arms open.
Blimey.
So the stuff got banned from the market. So it's one of these fads that they brought out, as was Polyripple. Polyripple was a thicker consistency, and you put it on with a heavy pile roller. So when you applied it, it lifted the surface, so it left something like an Artex finish.
And now, there are places that you've gone to, and they've asked you to redecorate, and you've got to deal with these sort of things. A bit like us when we were talking with the fad for wood chip.
Yeah.
You come in and they say, well, we'd like to get shot of that. Is that easy to do? And if you've got sand mixed in with paint, that's not an easy thing to get shot of.
No, it's very, very hard to get off. In most cases, it would have to be skimmed with plaster to actually get it back to a proper smooth finish.
Yeah, and now the fad is for more of that sort of thing, a smoother finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And in more recent times, just sticking with paint, there are a lot of more fashionable paints, I suppose you would call them, would you?
Designer paints.
Designer paints, including this very, this again, another fad, I suppose. It's fashion, isn't it? Of a chalky finish.
Yeah, Farrow & Ball. It's like an eco paint. They were the first company to bring out what they class as an eco paint with this chalky effect. But it's I don't really know any decorators that like to use it because it's like a DIY paint in effect that you can't cover anything with 2 coats. You've got to keep applying. In some cases, I've applied 5 coats of the Farrow & Ball paint onto new plaster,
and you still see through it.
And you can still see through it.
Gosh, and is it because it's chalky? Does that come off on the clothes?
It does, yeah. And it's like most of these designer paints now. If you mark the wall, you can't touch it up. You've got to paint the whole wall,
or that mark stays there forever.
Yeah. But of course, these designer paints, Farrow & Ball, Little Green, they are horrendously expensive.
Give me an example for, say, a 5-litre tin that you might ordinarily get from a local place cheaply if it was a chalky paint.
Farrow & Ball, £106 for 5 litres.
Bloody hell. So that's a lot of money for a chalky finish, which
absolutely.
You may have to do several times.
Yeah.
I had a go, ladies and gentlemen. I had a go. This is my house, and what a difference you have made, Kevin. Let me say that. It is absolutely brilliant. And yesterday we saw him walking the plank. And Kevin said, Richard, you've laughed at me, you've shown me on the video, have a go. And I thought, how hard can it be? Until I got on the plank. And the plank again, the reason you're using the plank is because the ceiling above the stairwell is so high you can't get a ladder up there.
Exactly, yeah.
So you've got 2 ladders and the plank is running between the 2 and the drop is immediately below the stairwell. And I don't like heights, but Kevin's done it. You're a little bit older than I am.
10 years older.
Couple of years, I was going to say. And I thought, how hard can it be? Have a look at this. Can you give me your hand for a second? Oh my God! Have you ever fallen off this?
No.
Right, what do you want me to do?
Well, you've got to paint along there with the brush, which is down here.
Don't disappear.
No, you're fine, don't worry. Right, so you've got to have that pot in front of you.
Yeah.
And you've got to dip the bristles just into the paint.
Yeah.
Tap it on the side of the bucket,
Right.
just to take any excess off.
Where, now what do I do? Where am I painting? The roof or
The ceiling into the corner, in the corner.
And what, this corner?
Yeah, right along, that's it. Work your way along,
Yeah.
that's it. Bit more paint, and reach further over to your right.
Right. That way?
Yeah. Again, keeping it into the corner of the wall and the ceiling.
Oh, I thought you'd done that.
Yeah, that's it.
La 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 la. Ladies and gentlemen, I am cacking myself and I am not looking down. Oh my giddy aunt.
So now you've got to do them along the that's it. If you can reach a bit further, you can, but don't.
I'm not going to reach any further than that.
That's fine.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Now what?
Now you've got to do along the wall part of that.
Which wall?
The wall the ladder's leaning against.
This wall?
Yeah.
Oh, down here?
No.
Oh no, not there. Shite. Where then?
Brush that out. That's it. That's it. Along between the angle of the ceiling and the wall.
The angle of the ceiling?
Yeah. No. The
This
wall.
here?
You do the same on the wall.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The top of the wall.
The top of the wall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do the same as what you've done on the ceiling, but on the wall.
Oh, down on this bit?
That's it.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yeah. That's called cutting in.
Oh, is it? A lesson for the Vobes. Can I stop now?
You can stop now. You've done your bit. I'll finish it off. Just pop. That's it. Put the brush on the top. That's it.
I've got to get back.
No, you'll be fine. Don't worry about that.
No, I've got to get back that way.
Oh, no, you have. You can turn round.
Turn around. Turn. What do you hold on? Oh, shite. Ah. It's all very well you laughing. Oh God, I've just looked down. Turn round. Now I'm stuck. Don't laugh. Please don't laugh. Oh God. You mustn't laugh. Can I jump down?
No. You
Oh God, my legs are going. My legs are going. Oh, don't thump that. No, Kevin, I'm worried.
Mr. Grimsdale.
How do I get backwards?
Just we got. It's like reverse.
Can't do it. I'm stuck.
Fire brigade.
What? How do I get back?
Well, put that foot behind that one.
But then what do I hold on to?
Give me your hand.
Oh, you sure it won't tip over?
No, it won't.
Now what?
Do that.
I can't do the other foot. I can't take that foot off.
Yes, you can. Shuffle backwards, one foot. That's it. Do it like that.
Don't let the ladder collapse.
The ladder won't go anywhere.
This is famous last words.
Yeah, keep going. Just shuffle backwards. Keep
I
going.
can't keep shuffling. I've seen the ladder move. Christ.
Keep that foot going straight. You're going backwards now. Awkward angle. That's it. Go back a bit more. Keep going.
There's nothing to hold on to. There's usually a...
You're nowhere near the ladder yet.
What?
Go on. Keep going. Another step. Little shuffle. Steady. Gotta leave this in. Keep going.
Just look down.
Well, don't look down then.
I try not to. Can I have a bit more of a firm grip? There we go. Because if I fall, I want to pull you with me.
I did laugh, and I apologise. I shouldn't have done, because it's the first time you've been on a plank like that. So it's a plank on a plank.
Thanks. Anyway, I have survived.
Yes.
And don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, and hopefully I shall be away from the four walls of my landing, stairwell and hallway, and out into the fresh air. Or maybe I'll be in front of the SE doing a bit of cooking. We've got something coming up for that. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Kevin, you are a star.
Not a problem.
It's absolutely brilliant. I've got about 700 different contacts for you to be going up and doing some ringing, all the work, all before Christmas.
Excellent. Just when I'm trying to slow down.
And we'll see you on another video. Take care and thanks again. Bye-bye.
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 Bye.